Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURUL FATIN ALISHA BINTI RAMLI. My matric number is H19A0986. My group choose the assignment of the labor force by age group from MALACCA, which is 55 to 64 age. Okay, first I will tell you about the statistic. Statistic is the science of data. This involved will be collecting, classifying, summarizing, organizing, analyzing, and interpreting data. The main objective of the business statistic is to draw conclusion about the specific characteristic of a population in the business domain, whether the population is a person, object, or collection of information. There is a little description of some objectives, namely data arrangement, such as class and frequency, relative frequency, also cumulative frequency. Okay, next, graphical method. Measure of central tendency, that is explanation of central tendency such as mean, median, and mode. Also, we learn about measure of variation and measure of position. Okay, now I will pass this presentation to my friends to explain more detail about this assignment.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is AHMAD IZZAT bin Muhammad Nur AZMI. My matric number H19A0947. Today I want to present my part. My part is data arrangement. Now I want to explain cumulative frequency distribution. Cumulative frequency is a modification of the simple frequency distribution. It is obtained by successfully adding the frequency of the value of the classes. Next, class width. Class width refers to the difference between the upper and lower of any class. For example, the difference between the upper limit of two consecutive classes or the lower limit of two consecutive classes. That's all.
Hi, my name is Atiqah binti Muhammad YACOB. My matric number is H90A0492. My part is graphical method. Firstly, I will tell you about the frequency polygon table and graph. A frequency polygon is a graph constructed by using lines to join the midpoints of each interval or bin. The heads of the points represent the frequencies. A frequency polygon can be created from the histogram or by calculating the midpoints of the bins from the frequency distribution table. So here, this is table of frequencies polygon for the number of labor force by age group. Okay, so also that this is the graph of frequency polygon. Okay, next, I will tell you about the histogram table and graph. A histogram is a graphical display of data using bars of different heights. In a histogram, each bar groups members into range. Tailor bars show that more data falls in that range. A histogram displays the shape and continuous sample data. The table and graph shows below that represent histogram. So here, this is the table of histogram of the number of labor force by each group. In this table, it should have 5 things to produce one histogram graph. The 5 things are the number of labor force by each group, lower boundaries, upper boundaries, midpoints, and also the frequency. Midpoints are known as X, while frequency is known as F. Also that this is the graph of histogram. Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is ASYIMA binti Muhammad YACOB. My metric number is H19A0487. Today, I will present about the measures of the central tendency. A measure of central tendency is a value that represents the center of a distribution. Three most commonly used to the measures of central tendency for N-group data and group data are mean, median, and mode. Okay, the first is mean. To calculate the mean of group data is, the first step is to determine the midpoint of each interval or class. These midpoints must then be multiplied by the frequencies of the corresponding classes. The sum of the products divided by the total number of values will be the value of the mean. The mean for labor force by age group, MALACCA 55 to 64 is 90,420. So, the mean time spent by labor force was approximately is 90,420 years. Alright, the second is median. To calculate the median, the data must first be ranked sorted in ascending order. The median is the number in the middle. The median for labor force by age group, MALACCA 55 to 64 is 7,484. About 72% of the number labor force by age group spend more than 7,484 years, and the other of 28% spend less than 7,484 years. Okay, the last is mode. The mode of a list of data values is simply the most common value. The mode for labor force by age group, MALACCA 55 to 64 is 5,504. The highest number of labor force by age group spent during their most recent session is 5,504 years. So, that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is NURUL ALISHA binti RAMLI. My metric numbers is H19A0986. So, I will explain about the measure of variation, that is my part in this assignment. A measure of central tendency is some parameters attempt to describe the amount of variation between random variables. Three parameters that we use to quantify the amount of variation in a set of random variable, which is range, variance, and standard deviation. Firstly, I will tell you about the range. The range of a data is the difference between the maximum and minimum data entries in the set. So here this is formula of range. For example, maximum data entry is 25.9 minus minimum data entry is 3.1, and the answer is 22.8. Therefore, the range of labor force by each group is 22,800. Secondly, I will tell you about the variance. The term variance refers to a statistical measurement of the spread between numbers in a dataset. More specifically, variance measurement how far each number is in the set is from the mean, and therefore from every other number in the set. So here, this is the formula of variance. Therefore, the sample variance is about 33,080. Okay, next I will tell you about the standard deviation. The standard deviation is a statistic that measures the dispersion of a dataset relative to its mean and is calculated as the square root of the variance. So here, this is formula for standard deviation. The sample standard deviation is about 5,750 years.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Anas bin ENCHEK RAHAMAT. My number metric #19A1006. My part is measure of position and conclusion. A measure of position is a method by which the position that a particular data value has within a given data set can be identified. As with other types of measure, there is more than one approach to defining such a measure. To determine the measurement of position, the data must be sorted from lowest to highest. The measures of position is in quartiles. In quartiles, the data set is divided into 4 equal parts. Set of observation has quartiles and they are donated by Q1, Q2 and Q3. Q1 refers to 1/4 of the total data and Q3 refers to 3/4 of the total data. For the interquartile range of Q1, for the age data of the state of Malacca, which is 55 to 64, the total is 72. So 1/4 is 18. Therefore, quarter 1 is in the position of class 3.1 to 6.3 with a cumulative frequency 26. Next, for the interquartile of Q3 is for the age data of the state of Malacca, which is 55 to 64. The total is 62. So 3/4 of 72 is 54. Therefore, quartile is in the class 9.7 to 12.9 position with cumulative frequency is 62. Lastly, interquartile range. Interquartile range is the difference between the upper and the lowest quartiles. For the age data of the upper state quartile is 10,741, while the lowest quartile is 4,884. So the difference is 5,857 people. In conclusion, we use some methods such as data arrangement, graphical method, a measure of tendency, and measure of position to calculate the data labor force in the state of Malacca. As a first step, we use frequency distribution to calculate the number of classes and class interval. Other than that, relative frequency distribution and cumulative frequency distribution are also used to arrange the data for the graphical method. We use 2 types of graphs such as frequency polygon and histogram. We use measure of central tendency to calculate mode, mean and median. Label the mode was state. For a measure of variation, we use range variance and standard deviation. The quartile method was used to calculate the interquartile range for the measure of position. With this data, we can find out the extent of increase or decrease of population such as labor in the state of Malacca. That's all from me. Thank you.